Wellness warriors. Oh my gosh. Once again, Dara Lee and I wanted to be able to. There's so much information out there. And we did a masterclass on the immune system. We did number one, we did part two. And these strong pillars we have of our body, our movement, we have nutrition, we have mindset, very holistic view. And we're all really good at self sabotaging ourselves and coming up with what we think we need and then procrastination. But basically, we wanted to come in here and review what we thought were our top points of the last couple master classes because we have to hear it like 6 to 7 times before it makes any sense whatsoever. And your immune system, it's I was just telling Dara Lee, this is a really interesting comment. Your immune system doesn't just fight colds; it decides whether your body stores fat or burns it. So your immune system is your defense system. Most of you guys know that. Your repair system and your daily balance system. But here's the kicker. It's not one organ, it's a full body ecosystem. It's how your whole body works together. And that's why traditional Chinese medicine works that way. It's the whole body and how it works together, not just one part. And unfortunately, in today's world and in the world that we grew up in, with our Western medicine, it's a body part. It must be your kidneys, it must be your heart, it must be this, rather than knowing that issues with our tongue can be telling us stories about what's happening inside. So think of it as one full body ecosystem. Your gut, so think of your stomach area and intestines, 70% of your immune activity. Bone marrow, where immune cells are made, your blood, your lymph, and your skin. Your immune system responds. This is, if you're a writer downer, this should be a writer downer. Your immune system responds to how you live. Isn't that crazy? So, how you live, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, how you think, it's what you eat, it's how you move, it's how you sleep, it's how stressed you are, it's what you think. And we have to remember that it's one of the major switches in our body, but all the other little switches are underneath it. So basically, it's like open up a fuse box, and there's all these little switches that we have to work with. So as Dara Lee gets into one of the pillars, which is food, which people love to talk about, is our immune system response to how you live, what you eat, once again, how you move, how you sleep, and how stressed you are, and how you I'm just once again sharing it early. You can predict, wake up in the morning and get yourself all worked up about how much stuff you have to do, stress, your body can respond to that. So all the things we've shared with you with Wellness Warriors of just taking a few minutes in the morning when you go from subconscious to conscious, do not look at your phone. Actually, it should be in the other room because of the EMF waves. But take the few moments when you first wake up to think about what your day is going to be like, how you want to feel. I want to feel like I'm not so bloated in my tummy. I want to feel like I have a lot of energy. I'm not yawning all day. So as we get into these different subjects, be thinking about how you want to feel because we can't make you do it. We can't open up your mouth, make you have this. We can't come to your house, take you up, make you go walk. Can't tell you that maybe no TV and stuff right before bed. Maybe that should be a good idea that you'd get rid of that. You have to take care of yourself. But unfortunately, it takes something to make you move forward. And that's why Dara Lee and I are always talking about how important baby steps are. All right, let's talk about what to eat.
All right, let's talk about what to eat. And I like to start with protein because protein is seriously non-negotiable. And to make it simple, I created a protein cheat sheet for you because what we want to think about is having 15 to 30 grams per meal. But what does that mean? What does that look like? So I did create a little cheat sheet that I'm going to give to you, but I'm going to share it also. But think about eggs, chicken, fish, beans, lentils. Those are all protein, nuts, seeds. And again, Greek yogurt is way higher in protein than regular yogurt. I'm going to share my screen for a minute. Oh, wait, I didn't do it that way. Cancel. I'm supposed to share a portion of my screen. And that's not what I want, Laura.
Hey, find what
There
you
we go.
want.
Here it is, right here. This is a protein power cheat sheet because, like I said, if I tell you 15 to 30 grams, what the heck does that even look like, right? But first of all, why protein even matters, it supports your metabolism. It definitely helps to reduce cravings, keeps you fuller longer, and what we know is so important is that it supports muscle health, muscle building, and we know that as we age, strength training, muscle maintenance, muscle building is absolutely critical because we just naturally lose muscle as we age. It's just a part of that's just biology. And the only way that we can keep that up is while we're doing our strength training 3 times a week, we have to make sure that we're eating enough protein. So, breakfast, what does it look like? 2 eggs with some Greek yogurt. So, typically, we probably just eat the eggs with the vegetables, don't necessarily have the yogurt. Have a little dish of yogurt alongside of that. If you have a Greek yogurt bowl, a full cup of yogurt is about it's Greek yogurt is about 18 to 20 grams of protein. Then you want to add some nuts or seeds to that. A protein smoothie using a good quality protein powder. And we've talked about reading labels. Look at your labels. Make sure there's not a lot of extra additives in there. There does not need to be. There's plenty of really good quality protein powders out there that don't have a lot of artificial ingredients in it. And most of them typically have 20 to 25 grams of protein per scoop. If you want a little more, add in almond, any kind of nut milk. You can add in some extra. I love, have you ever tried that peanut butter powder? It's called PB, whatever it's called. I think it's pretty clean. I'll have to look at it because it's been a while since I've used that. I just use regular, I throw in a scoop of peanut butter, a tablespoon or two, for some extra protein, and I like the taste of it. For lunch, 15 to 30 grams, a grilled chicken salad. So, what I mean by that is salad, right? Throw some grilled chicken on there. If you figure about your palm size for a piece of meat is about typically 25 to 30 grams of protein. A chickpea wrap. So, a wrap, make a chickpea salad. You make it just like you would a chicken salad, but you chop up your chickpeas, you add whatever you like putting in it, whether it be some celery, maybe some craisins, a little bit of mayonnaise, and you can make a chickpea salad. It really actually tastes really good if you've never tried that. And then a cottage cheese bowl, the same thing. About a cup or so of cottage cheese. If you add some flax meal on top of that, you really can't taste it. It'll give you a little extra protein boost. Add some berries and you've got that's what 15 to 30 grams is going to look like at lunch. Dinner, your protein comes from your salmon or some kind of lean chicken and quinoa. Quinoa is going to add additional protein for you. Rather than having rice, I don't think rice has too much protein in it, but quinoa definitely does. If you like quinoa, it's a great grain to add to your chicken. There you can easily get 25 to 30. A lentil power bowl, just using lentils. They're also pretty high in protein. Add some, I always like to sprinkle on a little extra flaxseed. You cannot taste it, but it's going to give you an extra boost. Or some chia seeds, throw them in there. They're going to give you a little extra protein boost. And your veggies, and you've got a nice little protein bowl there. There's the palm size protein is 20 to 30 grams of chicken, fish, or beef meat. I don't know why they call it meat. They're all meat, but Greek Greek yogurt, a cup is usually around 18 to 20 grams. Cottage cheese, the same thing, and then your beans or lentils, a cup's worth. is going to give you around 20 or so grams of protein. So then just look at other little pieces that you could add to that if you want to boost it up. And every meal, just ask yourself, where's my protein? The little steps are what going to give you lifelong results. And I will drop this in there. But the other thing I want to talk about is diversity, because the diversity of what you're eating is really key. It's not as much how much food, it's really more about what types of food are you eating. It's really the key to your energy, your weight, your immunity. It's it, eating a bigger variety is so key. So if you have just a couple of your favorite kind of vegetables, start trying to expand on that. Doesn't mean that you can't eat your favorite vegetables. Absolutely not. You want to do that, but start expanding that and seeing if there are other things that you can begin to throw into your routine. You have an entire ecosystem living inside of your gut, and it is called the gut microbiome. And the more color, you've probably heard that as well, to eat the rainbow, right? Because that's where all your polyphenols are, in those brightly colored foods. And those polyphenols are definitely going to be giving you the nutrients that your gut is looking for. For example, I really don't care for blueberries. I don't dislike them, but I don't love blueberries. But I do buy them, I would say probably every other month, to throw into my smoothies so that I make sure I'm eating blueberries at least one out of every other month, whatever. I throw them in my smoothie. I don't really taste them. Or if I'm making a smoothie bowl, I can put them in there. Obviously, if there's a fruit or vegetable that you really don't like at all, then you don't eat that. But if there's something it's okay, I can tolerate it, then try to find a way that you can add it into something else just to give you that variety. We talk a lot about the variety, and I want to talk about that for a minute, but your gut is seriously an ecosystem, and you have trillions of gut bacteria living there. And like Laura said, 70% of our immune system is developed, built, lives within our gut. And all of these different bacteria, each type of plant food feeds a different bacteria, which is why we want to try to eat a variety, 30 different plant foods throughout the week. And that sounds like a lot. It sounds, oh my gosh, how could I ever do that? But just to give you an example, if you had oatmeal and you added, if you made it with some kind of plant milk, there's two plants already. You add in some nuts and two different types of berries. That's 5 or 6 plant foods right there for breakfast. For lunch, if you're having a salad, you buy those mixed greens. You've got at least 3 or 4 different greens in there. Then you add some beans and you add some sliced carrots, you add some dill, you add whatever. You can easily get another 5 or 6 different plant foods in your salad. Easy, probably even more, 8 or 10. If you have for dinner, I love having stir fries. They're one of the easiest things to throw together. A little bit of protein, you throw in whatever vegetables I happen to have, right? You can get another 5 different plants right there, because remember, spices count as well. If you're throwing in whatever kind of spice you might be throwing in, all of that counts. You throw in some turmeric, you throw in some cumin, whatever kind of spices you like in your vegetables or whatever. So right there, you've got probably 15 different plants easily, and that's only one day. So you can easily get 30 different plants throughout the week, and that's what's going to help keep your gut bacteria happier. And the happier your gut bacteria is, the stronger your immune system is going to be. Some bacteria reduce inflammation. Some, like Laura says, your immune system helps you to burn fat as well. Some of that gut bacteria is responsible for helping you to burn fat. Some help balance blood sugar, some strengthen your immunity. You're either feeding a variety of the gut bacteria or you are starving them if you're not eating a variety of different plant foods.
And Dara Lee, what's really interesting is when people are really sick, as in like with C. diff or something that's involving a gut issue,
Yep.
then they put you on the brat diet. And if you think about it, so that's bread, rice, apple juice, and toast. And it's really interesting to look at now and reflect back when I listen to you and think, okay, what kind of nutrients are in that? There's no real plants in there. No, what can, there's not
Well,
even
bananas. I think bananas is one of the
one
B's,
of the
right?
brat food,
Banana.
right?
Yep. And then
So
rice. Yep.
it's bread, rice, apple juice, and toast. And of course, banana can be in there as well. Trying to get it back to basics before you start feeding it. And one thing you guys definitely, what she said about the all the gut biome, it's growing. It's like a field of good stuff down there, but we have to keep feeding it and change it up. And that's why the variety of fruits is so important. Veggies is so important to get the variety in there.
The variety, yeah. And again, 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. Every meal is a message. You're either building a strong, resilient body or you're feeding inflammation and imbalance. The other thing that's really good for gut health and gut bacteria is fermented foods, kefir, sauerkraut, yogurt with live bacteria in it. Kimchi is another one.
You
Any
is that what
kombucha.
kombucha is? Yeah.
Kombucha is a drink. It's like a fermented
Yeah.
drink.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fermented them.
Yep. It's fermented.
What about pickles?
Pickles are probably good. I don't
Okay.
know if they're fermented, but I don't know, Laura.
I don't know about pickles.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But they're a different food. It's a cucumber, but it's got different spices in it. So, yeah, they're good. And then, of course, what's holding you back is the ultra processed foods. They they actually cause damage in the gut because there's so many excess chemicals in there that just start to destroy that happy gut bacteria. And the less of those foods that you eat, the happier your gut is going to be for sure. Excess sugar, also excess alcohol, artificial ingredients. And again, it's not about perfection. It's about just paying attention. Okay, doesn't mean like you can never eat a processed cookie or you can go to a party and have the birthday cake. Don't worry about it. It's what we do 90% of the time. My husband's struggling right now with raised blood sugar again. He was doing really well and then we both went off track here recently, but I said it's not that you can never have that peanut butter and jelly sandwich that he loves so much. It's that 90% of the time we've got to eat what's really treating our body well. And he says, how come now that we're older, like when I was a kid, I could eat anything? The thing is, when we were younger, we think it wasn't doing any damage, but guess what? It was slowly adding to all of that. And now it catches up with us when we're in our 50s and 60s, what we were doing in our 30s and 40s. Maybe we didn't feel it then, but it was building. And now it's really affecting. It can be affecting our bodies if we're not really paying attention now. And that's why, seriously, it's about trying to do better. It's not like being perfect by any means. It's about just being aware, paying attention. When can I make that switch from, okay, this highly processed food that I really love, what can I eat in place of that? And some of the deli meats, the salamis, pastrami's, and those kind of things. Does it mean you can never eat them? No, but it should not be a part of your regular routine if you want to you want your gut to stay healthy and you want to reduce the inflammation and stay energized and all of those things. You want to significantly reduce those. And we also want to move our booty, right, Laura?
We do. And I want to go back. One thing we're not talking about tonight in depth is habits or our lifestyle. And one thing Dara Lee just said, I just want to point it out. So I will use an analogy for a friend of mine who was just giving up smoking. And what he did was he knew he wanted to give up smoking. So every cigarette he had, he said, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do I need this right now? 1 is nothing, 5 is a lot. And he realized that at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that was like the cigarette he was going to kill for. So he said, okay, 4 o'clock it is. So 4 o'clock, he went and did something else and he started walking. And that turned to running and whatever. And
What happened, Laura?
that simple little change up when you're talking about processed foods and habits we're into, and especially with people with families, they're also cooking for other people in the family that think you're ridiculous that you don't serve French fries every night. I think if we can just take one, realize, okay, what's the hardest time for us to, if you find that on a Saturday when you're running around with kids or you're running around with your grandchildren or you've got lifestyle, that's the day you want to pull into a fast food facility, then switch it up. Maybe you already know you might want to do that. So you have to change your habit and put something else in that place. So I just want to go back because Dara Lee talked about habit stacking and the rest of it in the past. But just give yourself permission that some of these things she just mentioned, ultra processed foods and blah, 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 artificial ingredients, too much alcohol, that we can think of excuses all day, everybody, but you've got to start somewhere and first identify it and say, okay, I didn't realize I was having that much sugar. And just identify it and just make one small change. And you've got to identify your movement. Your movement is your immune, like medicine. And one thing, it's muscle is not just for strength. Muscles for your your muscle is an immune organ. So when you move, your muscles release myokines, and these little messages, they reduce inflammation, they boost your metabolism, they activate your immune cells, they improve your brain function. But the takeaway from that, thinking sitting, your immune system, your immune cells get parked. Whereas if you're moving, your immune cells go on patrol. And when they're on patrol, they look for things that could be a problem and they take notice. But we need our bodies paying attention to what we're doing because these myokines, they level it up a little bit, level up our body a little bit. So muscle isn't just looking to get toned. You're not looking just to be toned. It's your anti-aging, fat burning, immune boosting organ. And these myokines that get released, they're like a natural anti-inflammatory. And as the muscle improves its insulin sensitivity, there's less fat storage. And muscle supports immune surveillance, so your body spots these threats a little bit faster. So we were talking earlier about the strength training program and what kind of guidance people might need. And I want you to think that when you're walking, which I love to do, it keeps things moving. It keeps your digestive system moving. You probably poop a lot more regularly. All the sphincter muscles in your intestines are helping everything get through. When you're drinking water during your exercise, you're helping keeping things hydrated, which helps everything go through the intestines. But when you do strength training, when you take those muscle fibers and you break them down and they rebuild themselves stronger, think of if that's what it's doing, it's rebuilding your system. It's giving a better blood sugar control, less belly fat, lower inflammation, and a stronger immune response. So I thought this was cool. Movement is like brain fertilizer, fertilization of the brain. And we know when we move, you have better mood, better focus, better energy. People in the water fitness, especially, I see it all the time because I know many people, and for those of you on here tonight, I asked this morning how many people sat for more than 6 hours yesterday, and more than 2 or 3 hands went up. And we know that sitting for more than 6 hours a day increases your risk of heart disease 64%. We know that lack of movement increases your risk of breast cancer, colon cancer, diabetes, and high blood pressure. And we know that lack of movement can affect our brain. Like I said, the mood, the focus, and the energy. So, what is it going to take for you to realize that the more muscle you have, the more protection you carry for your body? And that doesn't mean you need to be a bodybuilder. A lot of times people think, oh, strength training, I don't want to look like her. It's not about that. It's not about can you flex your muscles and feel a bicep, but don't you want to be able to squat and sit down comfortably? Don't you want to be able to put stuff up in the top shelf? Don't you want to be able to carry the groceries in? Don't you want to be independent? My mother is very stubborn, but very independent. And she will not let us help carry. She has walking sticks and groceries, and we have to like fight to carry them inside for her. And when she's in an airport, she's going to carry her suitcase and her roller bag until she can't. So, you guys, as we talk tonight, think about your takeaways and what your steps going to be, because we're about to jump into another whole section of our part of our self sabotaging. And what do you want? You can hear stuff all the time, but you've got to make a step. You've got to decide. Yes, you might feel like sitting down and ordering this food to get delivered, but are you making good choices? Because I know, like for tonight, my sister made a stir fry. I can smell it. It's yummy. And I know what it is. It's all veggies. And we're adding some beans for protein and so forth. But I know my body's gonna be so thankful we could have gone out to get something to eat instead. So as we reflect through these sections and as we definitely get into the next one, please think what might help you because we're here for you. Go, dearly. Sorry.
Okay. I want to talk about stress, and I do have one more slide to share because this I think is so important, and I don't know why it keeps going here, but here's the stress one. This is so key. Stress increases cortisol. That's just biology, right? Cortisol is a hormone. Cortisol increases our sugar cravings. So it's not that you're being weak, that all of a sudden when life goes crazy, what do you want to do is sit down and eat that big bowl of ice cream or that chocolate bar cookies, whatever it is. That's the cortisol saying, I need something to help me calm down, and sugar cravings happen. When we eat excess sugar, it increases our inflammation, and inflammation leads to a weaker immune system. So, we live in a world where stress is all around us. We are just bombarded by stress in our daily lives unless we pay attention to that and unless we really focus on what can we do to help reduce that stress. Some of the things that we can do, one of the most important things, Laura mentioned it right at the beginning, is when you get up in the morning, take just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a full half-hour meditation thing. No, it can be 3 or 4 minutes of quiet, calm, reflect on how you want your day to look. What do you want to feel like today? Really embrace that intention for your day. And then throughout the day, if you feel yourself getting stressed, feeling, oh my gosh, take a quick walk. And again, it doesn't have to be a 30-minute walk. It can be 5 or 10 minutes, or put on some quiet music, do some calm yoga moves, do something. The breathing, Laura's done the box breathing with us before. It's you want to just inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and hold it for a count of 4. And if anybody needs to do that, we could do that quickly right now. We'll do it. Are you ready? We're going to inhale for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold it. Just that. can help with the what do you call it? You call that the parasympathetic
Yeah.
system. It's going to help you to calm. And another thing to do is turn off the damn news. The news is very can be very stressful. So again, just pay attention to how much you're absorbing all of that, especially right now with what's going on. It's not just in the US, it's affecting the world, what's going on. But and then taking that quick walk after meals makes a huge difference too. And it can be putting on music and dancing for 5 or 10 minutes. It can be getting outside. One of the best things you really can do to help, and I've read this over and over again, it's one of the best antidepressants. It's one of the best things you can do for your mental health is to get outside in nature. Whatever that looks like for you, wherever you are, get out of the house, get outside, and take a little walk. It doesn't have to be an hour-long walk. It can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but just being outside, and if you can go barefoot in the grass a little bit, that's also very grounding if it's temperature friendly for that. But that is another really nice thing to be able to do first thing in the morning, catching that sun coming up. It's good for to get into your eyes first thing in the morning. But all of those kind of things, just remind yourself, okay, let me slow down. What can I do for just a couple of minutes? Because I used to think that in order to meditate, I had to do it for a half hour, and I don't have time to do that for a half hour. No, we can just do it for a couple of minutes. Sit calm, do some deep breathing, close your eyes, and just relax for just a couple of minutes. Makes a huge difference when it comes to stress. And
Can I add something?
you sure can. Please do, Laura.
So I want you guys to think of stress as chronic stress, stress that I'm gonna say pressure. Okay, so pressure on you, some kind of pressure on you, chronically. Acute means it happens once. Chronic is time after time. Chronic stress reduces your white blood cell activity, and your white blood cells are the immune system cells produced in the bone marrow that protect your body against infections and foreign invaders and the rest of it. So the stress, chronic stress over time, literally reduces white blood cell activity, slows healing. If you are broke something, or you've had an operation, or you've injured yourself, or you've been really sick with some kind of flu, your healing will slow down if you decide to have that pressure or stress about it. It also can increase infection risk. So you can have infection, of the chance of having infection, and you can make it worse just by you getting stressed out about it. But here's crazy thing. Even thinking stressful thoughts can trigger the response. So your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a stressful email. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've opened up an email and I'm like, I can feel myself emotionally and physiologically respond to this email, and I have to choose. It's just an email. They're just words that you don't know what the exclamation point means. So don't even the bold letters of no more something or other. You don't know what that means. It's just them using words. And something as an email can trigger people off. But I think we have to look at stress is a good thing. When you do strength training, that's stress on your muscles. And that stress creates a stronger muscle, which is a good thing. But I think what Dara Lee said when she's talking about it, first thing about stress, decide what that looks like. And it's not going to hurt you to reflect. Okay, I know Dara Lee just finished telling us, okay, cortisol is going to go up, sugar cravings. It's like a dominoes. Stress, cortisol goes up. Whoop, sugar craving goes up. Now inflammation, now weaker immunity. There's a domino series there. So without the dominoes falling down. So how can we make them stay up? And I think if you, and Kim and Alan's were big on dominoes down here. But if we can be thinking of, and I'm sure you all know about the card, the dominoes falling, you keep that strong for your longevity and your choices. What in your day tomorrow, when it used to hit that domino and go, here, I want to start the whole reaction. Maybe look at some trigger points in your life. Maybe look at how you're starting your day. Nothing wrong with you not eating any food whatsoever for a couple hours after you wake up. but to move like might be a good thing. All these factors we've talked about tonight, just to reflect, what does stress mean to you? Because it might not be stress at all. It's just a factual thing. Rather than I have to do this, you get to do this. Today I get to teach this class and I get to talk to this person and I get to do that. Now my brain is happy. But if I'm telling myself, oh my gosh, Dara Lee, today I have to do this and I have to do that, then that's the stress you don't need. So if I can just summarize real quick, by adding more plants, by moving daily, by strength training 2 to 3 times a week, which we can do with you on our Facebook. And I told you over and over again, if you're not a Facebook person, reach out so you can just get a video. Every time you move your body, you're sending a message to your immune system. Every time you hurt terribly, every time you eat real food, you're build a stronger like internal database. And every time you manage stress, you protect your energy and your health. You protect your health, you guys. So you've heard us say before, your body isn't broken. It's just waiting for better signals. And what can we do to help with that? I know you want to feel less bloated. You want to feel thinner. Summer's coming fast, you guys. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to think, man, I'm hot. Doesn't really matter what the shape of your body is, but I want you to feel hot. I want you to feel sexy, and I want you to feel good about yourself. So getting moving, eating better. If you have any questions about what step to take, this is why we're constantly throwing out there, please jump on a call with us. Because just by us asking some questions and by you taking a moment to really think, you might find that we help you with those answers.
I just dropped the link to our calendar discovery call. Feel free, click on that, book a call, and then I also dropped the Google Doc that has the protein cheat sheet there. So you can just to help you figure out how much protein is really important to have.
And by the way, for those who've never done it before, what you do when you click on make the appointment for a call, basically Dara Lee has the calendar. And so she gets on and she asks questions. Sometimes they have to get steered. They're like, it's a Laura question, or this is really, let's get Laura to get a grip on this and come up with what this Pat thing should be. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually both of us coming up with asking enough questions where we can turn around. You can say, yeah, you know what? I need to do that because now's the time and it's for me. And I hate to tell you, it's almost the end of March. April's around the corner, and you are going to be bombarded with Easter, whatever that means too. And there's nothing wrong. I heard someone talk the other day and they said, oh, I've got to go out. Family's here. I'm going to have to go out for dinner here and do this, do that. I just had family here for a week. And it doesn't mean I can't make good choices when I go out to dinner. It doesn't mean I can't. No reason why we can't share a dessert rather than each have one. I'm not a dessert person. It's just, you're not. It's almost like when you grow up and your parents say you can't have that. I want that. What do you want? And what are you willing to? Don't worry about giving up anything. You're just making changes. You're upgrading. This is all an upgrade. We're upgrading
It is.
ourselves to a different level. And trust me, you start feeling good, clothes start feeling better, you're pooping regularly, you're hydrated, you're just feel good, you have energy. People are going to ask you, they're going to say, hey, Cynthia, what are you doing? I want to do what you're doing. And it's very contagious. Movement is just what movement does to us, very contagious. And just by getting out in the morning, and I heard the other day someone said they were really concerned about walking in the morning because they have to go to the bathroom. Or just get up a little bit earlier. Think about what you had for dinner the night before. If you're having at least 12 hours, chance, I don't know, I don't drink coffee, but I heard if you have coffee in the morning, that helps you go to the bathroom. But know your body and pick a time. Maybe if you are concerned about just go walking around in your neighborhoods, you have to get back to the toilet, you can do it. But there's really a way to do everything we need to do. And we're here for you. We're excited.
All right. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute and ask. Otherwise, please grab those links and book a call. And it's just an open conversation just to help lead you maybe in a little different direction. That's what we're here for. All righty. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And we'll see you guys real soon. Bye bye now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Welcome. Bye bye.